they'll be calling you a radical, another version of mall walkers versus armchair activists. I work for RT, fake activists, book hawkers, war profiteers. I'm a peace activist. I sell books. No, you're not. I was on RT. Now, who owns RT? I'm Hedges. I'm Benjamin. Those aren't peace activists. Those are war profiteers. It's the end of the world as I know it, and I feel fine. So, we're afraid of nuclear meltdowns. We're afraid of nuclear meltdowns. We're afraid of nuclear meltdowns. We're afraid. We're afraid. We're afraid. We're afraid of nuclear meltdowns. We're afraid of nuclear meltdowns until they happened. Never happened before till March 11th, 2011. Kevin Blanch told the whole world. And that's misinformation. These are full-blown out nuclear meltdowns. They're going to just lie, circle the wagons, and the byproduct of all this is going to be catastrophic. That's misinformation. Now, who was sitting with RT? You can't talk about that, Blanch. With Tsar Putin, who's been, the whole world has labeled him as a war criminal. So, Hedges is being promoted all over YouTube. Now who started YouTube? Who started Google? They're trying to serve him. He's from where now? What? Chomsky's been tagged with Epstein. Bill Gates been tagged with Epstein after he was a registered sex offender. What? Now look up. I just want you to Google Jeffrey Epstein's grandfather. What? You can't talk about that. You can't talk about that photograph. Who was sitting with Tsar Putin on the 10th anniversary of RT? Remember the 5th of November, 2015. Mikhail Lessons. Oh, you can't talk about Mikhail Lessons. What? Now, who are you? Who you can't talk about that. That's misinformation. Up is down, black is white, wrong is right. You cannot tell the truth, Blanch. You cannot tell the truth. The truth is misinformation. What is the not misinformation? All over media. What is not? The rain falls on the plain, mainly in Spain. Spanish flu, can't talk about that. What was the real origins? That let's call it. Let's set a nuclear meltdown scale. It was just a 7. IA ranked us. Who sets a scale to 7? Who calls it's Spanish flu when it others? I mean, that's how they play. Up is down, wrong is right. Yay, armchair activists, booksellers, hawkers. We're afraid of nuclear meltdowns until they happen. Never happened at my act. Never happened at. Let's go to the polygon in Afghanistan and let's stage the troops there. Now, what did Colin Powell die of? Oh, multiple myeloma, the same thing Blanch has. Oh, now what did Rumsfeld die of? Oh, I stood in front of the White House. I was there the whole time. Bush lies. Went after Afghanistan to kill the Taliban. Went after Iraq to get Dick Cheney and friends of Democrats, giving one of the greatest war criminals in the history of mankind a standing ovation on the Senate. Dick Cheney. Kissinger's going to be 100. Just a few more days. Yay. Maybe we can get Ted Koppel's interview. Ted Koppel. What? Nightline. Chernobyl. Oh, they'll tell us. At the Big Z, we're all afraid. There's going to be a meltdown at the Big Z. This CBS today, the Big Z could be catastrophe, could be nuclear energy meltdown catastrophe. But what about the one that hasn't happened yet? I don't think. What about the one that has happened? So you're afraid of the one that could happen, but you're not worried about the one that did happen. So you're afraid of a nuclear meltdown. You're afraid of nuclear energy meltdowns until they happen. Then it's hear no nuclear energy evil, see no nuclear energy evil, spell no nuclear energy, speak no nuclear energy evil. Can't see it. That's clear over there. Breaking news. Fish swim. Breaking news. Gesturing moves left or right. You can't talk about that. You can't. Now, who was sitting with Tsar Putin on the 10th anniversary of RT, that photo. You can't talk about that. They're green. Up is down, black is white. Wrong. You can't talk about that. You can't talk about anything truth and reality. No, you can't talk about any reality winner. You can't talk about Michael Hastings. You can't talk about Megan Rice. You can't talk about Aaron Swartz at MIT. You cannot talk about B. Nato Khan was the prime minister of Japan. He went crazy about it. They forced him out. Now, who runs? Let's see. The only thing true that came out of Bummer Dummer's mouth when he went to Japan. These treaties were signed long before I was born. They don't even know it. World War II history. Now, when they divided up the world in Yalta, where's Yalta? What? Same old thing. So Chris Hedges and Benjamin are Putin sympathizers. They say, I can't believe it's being promoted by, you go to the search engine, that video is being promoted by those two heavily, by YouTube. What? So they say, well, Ukraine, Crimea have always been part of Russia. Okay, so let's go back to the old map. You want to go back to the Russian Empire? Okay. Let's go back to the back to the USSR. After World War II, they divided up the world. Eastern Europe was all part of USSR, including Poland. All the way, including half of Germany. East Berlin. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down that wall. What? So they say, well, no, this is, they're on the wrong side. So to hell with NATO. Well, think about NATO. Okay, so we're afraid of nuclear meltdowns until they happen. Let's stage the troops at the Polygon. What's that? Tsar Bomba! Huh? Why did we drop those bombs? Why did we drop those bombs? We didn't want Stalin to get Japan. And we were having a hell of the battle in Okinawa, nasty, horrific. Fighting uphill, went in reverse and coming downhill. Look at the general that was in charge. Look what the U.S. military said about him. This is just all Hiroshima, G7 at Hiroshima, G7 at Hiroshima. Even Amy, who I know personally, has a woman who just goes off and rips G7. But don't say the F word. Ignore the herd of elephants in the back parlor. Ignore the pot of dead whale. Don't mention the G7. All these video media at Hiroshima. The gay flew out of here. Kevin Blanch got the paper crane. Don't talk about that. Don't talk about the real activist who wins, who gets the work. Yay, we got to go to the booksellers. So, RT used to follow us around at the Millie Max Mark. I used to tell John Anthony all the time. I'd say. I remember one time he said to me, it's funny, you're the guy. You're the spokesman of this group. You've invented this, you and I. And yet they won't interview you. I said, they interview me. As long as I'm talking about police brutality. I'm talking about social inequality. They will not touch me when it comes to Fukushima or nuclear. I said, they're really Russian. They're pro-nukers. They're Putin's puppets. Now, TASS, provide. Wasn't that Mikhail Lessin? Yeah, he was Putin's czar of information. He started RT. Remember the 5th. Remember I got the tip in New York? Don't go. It's going to be trouble. I stayed in New York and we passed around the Megahorn. Remember Vice interviewed me. It was so ridiculous because Vice, they're bankrupt now. Just like Chicago Bridge and Iron, just like Arriva, just like Westinghouse. But we bail them out. Just like Toshiba. What? Westinghouse, Toshiba, what? This global imperialism. Anti-Neo, Yoko Dada. You can't talk about that now. Paul McCartney's wife, let it be. McCartney wrote, let it be, his mother, his Mary, died so young after the nuclear disaster in UK, South America, dancing in the streets. So the only person that ever showed up to anyone, celebrity major event of mine, was Bowie, Shirtwaist Fire. He showed up. So did Eric Oppenheim. I didn't know who they were. We got some good work done. He handed me some money. And incognito, they got to hide. They got to hide if they're true activists. They can't. They're publicists. You know, they're old and they're ready to pass away, but they still got to bow to their publicist. If you don't believe me, you ask Bruce. What? He's going to save the homeless in San Diego. What? Yeah, he's going to save the homeless in San Diego. Don't you know? Don't you know? And the tickets are only $2,600 to go to the concert in San Diego. But he's going to save the homeless in San Diego. The luxury good. Born in the USA. The capitalistic rope, Vladimir Lenin. They'll give you just enough to hang yourself. These book hawkers and books. Yay, we like Benjamin. They're not peace activists, and if they are, they lost every battle they ever fought. How about Kevin Blanch, the Anti-Nuclear Energy Act? Oh, that dude wins. You better kettle him. Better slow his ass down. Internet throttling. I invented the term internet kettling. I've invented hundreds of them. And, but, fuck me. You know, so Einstein was right. Einstein never invented nuclear. No, he didn't. Nope. Joseph did. And let's talk about this. We'll get back to some of this. We can't keep up, Kevin. We can't keep up. Albert? You're getting Einstein like Arabs getting going on. He was a peace activist. He was an anti-nuclear energy activist. That's exactly what he was. Hell of a way to boil water. He went after him. Remember, he was banned from the Manhattan Project. Oh, he wrote that letter, the DOE, which started the DOE. He never wrote that letter. He said his biggest regret was signing that letter. Leo wrote that letter. Enrico Fermi, both of them in La Jolla. When I was a kid, so was I. I was in the slums of La Jolla. What's that? Tourmaline Canyon. Oh, it's all surfers, yeah. Go surfers. Everybody in Pacific Beach hated the surfers. Hated them. No, Tourmaline was cool. It was swimmers and poets and beatniks and writers. Oh, de plutonium. Oh, that was written there. What? Ginsburg was in PB? Yep. Oh, the Crystal Pier is collapsing. What? It's privately owned. What? They drive cars on it? We can't figure that out. What? Frank Zappa, pure data. He wrote Black Ocean, Under the Crystal Pier. Kevin Blanch did all that work. Under the Crystal Pier. I remember one of the lifeguards there told me, me and my son, you're full of the Blanch. We find starfish eyes. Where? Under the Crystal Pier on the pillars. And I says, well, you got the right spot, because that's the only place they're at. And there are a few there. It's true. There are a few. And then at Lover's Point in Monterey. Well, come on. You know, I use the word genocide, not extinction. Genocide. First, they come for the craftsmen. Of course, they come for the indigenous people and steal their land. 500 years is European oligarchs have been fighting over. So Putin lays over the map. The Russian Empire. Didn't we buy Alaska for 2 cents? Katie Couric. Now, wasn't Katie Couric? Now it's been outed. She was at Epstein after. Now, remember, this is after in New Mexico. Now, why would his Zorro Ranch be at Los Alamos? What? Just coincidence. Why was Jeff Bezos born at Los Alamos? What? Huh? You can't talk about this kind of stuff, Blanch. His real last name's not Bezos. She was 14. His grandfather, Mama's case, the original propagandist for the Department of Nuclear. Einstein called nuclear energy the biggest, dumbest mistake in the world. And he says, if the genie ever gets out of the bottle and we have a meltdown, it's going to mutate and change every piece of DNA on the face of the earth. Every piece of it. It's going to change it. It's going to change it. So that's what he said. That's what did it. But we can't talk about that. Oh, no, you can't talk about the Santa Claus that ties up with your feet, Edie. It's a cult. You can't talk about that, Blanch. You can't talk about the reality of winter of Einstein's work. You can't talk about that. You can't talk about that. You cannot talk about that, Blanch. You cannot talk about that. You have to stay with the mainstream. That's the truth. Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction. No, he didn't. What? Pat Tillman fought off 9 million gazillion Al-Qaeda. It was his mom through FOIA documents had to dig out the truth. No, he didn't. His own person. His own man shot him. What? You can't talk about it. You need to go buy a camouflage NFL freaking jersey made by slaves. And now, them hair extensions, where do they come from? You can't talk about that, Blanch. You can't talk about the truth and reality. Weber State School business. Look it up. I was the guy there. I was the main guy. When Lee came in there, I argued with him. I used to joke to him. I said, what'd you put in Dr. Cooley's tea? Just joke. I don't think it's a joke now. For 25 years, I screamed, look what they're doing to us. Look what they're doing. They destroy the #1 school business in the country. Dr. Cooley dies right before 2 weeks before the #1 MBA program in the country. Kevin Blanch is running out. Kyle Madsen dies. I mean, the Wattis curse. I almost died. Just coincidence, bro. It's all coincidence. The tide pulls at your feet post-Fukushima. Salmon collapse. Heat bubble evolution, all predicted by son of Cassandra, Kevin D. Blanch. Who's Cassandra? That's just Greek mythology. How much is truth? How much is fake? Well, let's go ask Benjamin. Didn't she name herself and change her name to a Greek guy? If she's a Greek goddess, I'm a rainbow-striped freaking zebra. Giraffe. On Balco. On chemo. So Einstein was an anti-nuclear. Hardcore. So Russell invented nuclear. He split the atom. Excuse me, not Russell. The Russell-Einstein initiative. Joseph did. So Joseph, in 43, 44, the U.S. had secret intelligence. So the letter, Leo, came to Long Island. Einstein. He was not good at math. He was a genius. He went off the intuitive. I had a dream when I was an 11-year-old boy that light bent. I stuck with that dream. I run off the intuitive mind. That always stuck with me when I was a boy, I'll tell you that. So, the intuitive mind. Einstein was a genius, incredible genius. He was a peace activist. He was anti-bomb. So, they have intelligence. The U.S. has intelligence because Leo's got the world convinced. Leo was lying the whole time. So was Fermi. When they dropped Trinity, I bet $1 that it will kill everybody in New Mexico. They dropped it anyway. Well, he died young in Loy. I think he was on 50. Doesn't he look exactly like Jeff Bezos? I mean, they look exactly like twins. What? You can't talk about that. What? They don't change their names. They don't hide their names. What? Linda Eastman? No, that's Epstein's. They're Epstein's. What? Her and Yoko went to the same high school together? Yep. In New York? Yoko's what? What? She's cousins with the emperor, the oldest. What's the oldest monarchy on the face of the earth? The Chrysanthemum Empire. That's the Japanese royal family. I graduated in Mikado. Look up the word Mikado. At the #1 school business in the United States. There's pictures of he and I all over together. What? Then Dr. Cooley just drops dead. Or does he get the MBA? And they're under investigation from the FBI. What, the FBI goes in there and says the influence, all of it? I know Lee personally. Oh, I knew what he was up to. What'd you put in that tea? I used to joke to him. Whoa, I don't think it's a joke anymore. So Einstein, U.S. intelligence behind enemy lines, they're talking in code. So they finally send a communique back in 1943, I believe. Baby never born. Mother never pregnant. Einstein didn't have it. Hitler never had it. The Nazis never had it. They were really never interested in it. But the U.S. sure was interested in it. So was Stalin, Stillman from Georgia. That went down to Georgia. So Stalin, they were called the Whites before they were called the Reds, right? Lenin. You ever heard Trotsky speak? Holy shit. So he slowly hunted them down. Stalin was so evil, it was unbelievable. So he wanted it, and he wanted it right now. He wanted it bad right now. Stalin wanted it. The U.S. wanted it. And remember, right after Yalta by the Sea, we took Japan, right? And he dropped dead. But it looked like we weren't going to get Japan, right? Right out of Utah. The Enola Gay hanger. The ceremony we did, Kevin Blanch gets to hold the favorite prairie king. Leukemia victim. Father nuked in the test by Sudoku's very own. She died of leukemia at 11 years old. Had a dream when I was an 11-year-old boy. The 11 innuendo. My two grandsons are both 12 now. Born March 20th. Their one little friend I was talking to the other day. Born March 10th, 20. Whoa. I'm like, you were born in the most famous day maybe in world history. Whoa. The 11. Number, yo, 11. So, they didn't have it. The U.S. knew that. So, Joseph becomes hardcore anti-nuclear, turns on the Manhattan Project fiercely, radically, says, oh no, anti-bomb, we don't need it, it's blah, blah, blah. He doesn't have it. And the U.S. knew he didn't have it. But we kept pursuing, you know. And so we couldn't overtake that. I mean, the nightmare in the South Pacific, oh my God. It was poor decision-making by brass in the U.S. military, and that's well documented by the U.S. military. Look it up. You know, they were fighting up here. They should have circled around, but the people of Japan were so indoctrinated by the royal family. How come we didn't go after the emperor? You know? He was only 24 years old. He lived in Manhattan. He died an old man. Yoko Ono's cousin? Yep. Look it up. So, let it be, let it be, let it be. They're fighting over nuclear energy. Sir Paul says, no, let it be. Let it be. Mother Mary came to me in a dream. So just leave it alone. Leave it alone. John would have none of it. He was a fierce peace activist. He was a fierce anti-nuclear. He was an Einstein disciple. Fierce anti-nuclear energy guy. John Lennon. And why did somebody go interview him? He's still alive with his conjugal visits. Oh, his woman that he's still with, his girl, he has the same girl that they've been with for years. They made 2 kids. Why he's in prison for killing the greatest peace activists in history. John Lennon blown away. What else do I have to say? He has children from her. Where's she from? Well, they lived in Hawaii for a while. No, she's Japanese descent. And so he has children, conjugal. He's still alive. Now, Reagan, the guy who tried to kill him, Hinckley, remember Zion Energy? Oh, you can't talk about that. You can't talk about those links. What? The Hinckley family and the Bush family, there was a tie there? What? Maybe Brussels, Carmel, California. Oh, she's just compared therapist. There's the CIs across the street. They're spying on me, blah. November 1980. It's over, kids. It's all over, kids. The Bush CIA has occupied the White House. They will never leave. First thing they will do is try to whack a Reagan. Now, his killer's out. Yeah, he does concerts. Travels around and does concerts. He was going to do one in Brooklyn. They canceled it. So, I mean, you can make it up. You can't make it up. Two says, is Liz Holmes in prison yet? Nope. You think she'll flee? I think, well, she already tried once. She's Christian Holmes. Now, who's Christian Holmes? You can't talk about that. You can't talk about Christian Holmes. What? He's Enron? Kenneth Lay's partner? What? The club asked Kissinger. Got to go talk to Henry before I go to Fukushima. Hillary went to Fukushima. Barack Obama, Barry Dummer, sent her in. Now, remember Barack Obama spoke on the White House lawn about Fukushima. And he said, the plume is coming over us right now. I'm going to keep you, the American public, in the know. You're going to know what I know, and I'll tell you everything I know on. That was St. Patrick's Day, 2011. He was flown to South America later that day. His family was already down there. That's just coincidence, bro. And so, okay, the emails get leaked out. I wonder who leaked those out. So I go back to Vice when they interviewed us at Remember Michael Lessons in November that day. There's that interview. Kevin Blanch was the spokesman. Shit, the people that were at that thing. Whoa. Woo. Wow, there were some powerful people in that group passing around. We whispered through the crowd. I invented the term internet kettling. You know, they call it throttling now. And I'm like, scatter. Go every direction. They're kettling us. Scatter. And morning. I'm like, scatter. Give it 45 minutes, show back up at Operation Foxconn News. He writes the article, advice, oh, pretty chill. They don't finish the story. None of them ever do. Medea Benjamin, she named herself after a Greek goddess. She's a Greek goddess. She's a war profiteer, bookseller. She's a Putin sympathizer. Her and Hedges are Putin sympathizers. That's unarguable. Just listen to him talk. So they're saying that, Crimea, Ukraine's been a sovereign nation since 1986. Gorbachev. I've been there lots of times. So, okay, if we're going to buy into that philosophy, why don't we give Texas and, right here in Utah, why don't we give it back? Why don't we give it back? Why don't we give it all back? This was Mexico when the Mormons got here, and the Mormons declared it Deseret. They were flag burners when I was a kid for years. Now they're flag burners. How did that happen? This was their own country, had their own currency, had their own co-ops, ZCMI. When I was a kid, that's the way it was around here. I mean, their own country. And so, it was Mexico. Before that, remember, Mexico threw Spain out and declared the new capital Monterrey, the old Pacific capital, John Lewis Stevenson, Monterey, California. They rose the flag, the tariff house. So from 1821 to 1848, this was Mexico. Before that, Spain had claimed it as New Spain. For a long time before that, the Louisiana Purchase on Balco. Est-ce que vous parlez French? The French got here 200 years ago. That was French. The French. The Wasatch right here, the Wasatch. That means to hide. The fur freaks, Jedediah Smith, Jim Bridger, and crew, the Ashley 100, 1824. My family, Ike Potter, he spoke all 5 times. He got here then. So I'm that old school. I go back that far. So, God, you're going by Victoria's Secrets without stopping. Isn't that Epstein? Woo. 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 They have the runway show on prime time on major networks. But don't talk anything about RT and who was on RT. Wasn't Hedges on RT? What? So they're saying that, no, the whole war there's yeah, she's being perpetuated. That thing should have been ended by the U.S. a long time ago. I agree with that part, but they say that, no, that's just part of Russia. And Kissinger said the same thing. Lay down and just give it to them. What? Ukraine's been their own country forever. Is Poland going to do the same thing? So after World War I, the military's over. There were treaties signed. That's why the IAEA, who took over the UN, is in Vienna, Austria. Stalin demanded it was going to be in New York. No, Stalin, they lost how many? 27,000 million men? And then Stalin just slowly destroyed them all. The people who started that revolution, he took it over. He eliminated them all, killed them all. Last one he got was Trotsky to the head. You ever heard Trotsky speak? Oh, now where's Trotsky from? You got it. Ukraine. Where's Lenin from? You got it. Firebird. Where's Madame Marie Curie from? Where's she from? Where's she from? You got it. What happened to her? So what happened to Pierre and Paris? What happened to Femin? What happened to all of them? What Holland? Remember. What Mark Fogel? What happened to all of them? He's a czar. You want to be imperialist? He's a czar. Putin is a czar. He's been in power for over 20 years. That's not a president. That's a king. They masqueraded. It's the old empire. It's the British Empire versus the Russian Empire. Hello. So you're saying that's your philosophy. That was part of the old Russian Empire. Well, so was Alaska. Okay? So was a big piece of Western Canada. So was parts of Oregon and Washington, nearly all the way to Moscow, Idaho. The Russian River in California. The old Russian Empire map, lay it over. They climb. The Spanish Empire, Columbus, the railroad museum's right there. They moved it out. I mean, it's pathetic what they've done here. Where's the golden spike? Oh, it's at Stanford. Where'd semi-crypto scam? He bailed out, posted a house. His parents, a private institution. What? Who owns the house? Stanford. What? They used to be called the Stanford Indians. So did Utah Indians. There's the Cardinal. What? Elizabeth Holmes. Stanford. The president and former first lady in Peru that have been indicted for stealing all Peru's money laundering. What? Met at Stanford. She's hiding. She fled out of the U.S. Oh, oh, RT. Woo. I told John, no, they're never going to put one of me up. They're on to me. They know I'm an anti-imperialist. Yeah, I see that. And he says, no, whoa. And I says, yeah, and that's when he backed out. He's like, they get no interviews from me. And I says, no, they're exactly what we're fighting. We're anti-imperialists. Yeah. And then we went and took that picture. It's a great picture he and I took together at Abraham Lincoln Memorial. Abraham Lincoln, I'm a direct descendant of Abraham Lincoln. My grandma used to tell me that, and Hamilton. And now DNA has proven it. So early colonialists pass out the smallpox blankets. That's what they're doing at Hanford. That's what they're doing at Rocky Flats. That's what they're doing at, Diablo. We need Diablo TikTok. So Einstein, the anti-nuclear, hardcore, the Manhattan Project banned him. Joseph invented the bomb, backed out. So we're all afraid of nuclear meltdowns until they happen. And then you can't talk about any of Einstein's hypothesis, which Kevin Blanch, I was always a fan of Metalbron. He bent the rabbit ears. Fractal physics. Oh, I loved it when I was a kid. I was an honor student as a kid. I was like the worst student in history at Weber High. I wouldn't go. I hated that place up there on that hill. They moved us off 12th and Washington, the old Leslie Hodson masterpiece. My grandpa was pissed. They tore that down. He says, I warned both demolition contractors. The wrecking ball was bouncing off the walls. But that's what they do. That's what they do. Tear it down. Oh my God, it's so pathetic. We're peace activists. No, they're not. So they're Putin says, so just hand it over and give it to Tsar Putin. Okay. What? So we're going to go back to the old empires? The old British Empire, which is nothing more than the United States. The special relationship, Iraq, Afghanistan. Who ran that show? Come on. We're colonialists. We started out as an old England, British monarchy, colonialist colony. Remember we had a Revolutionary War? Remember they dressed up like natives and threw the tea overboard? Well, we need to dress up like oligarchs and throw the uranium-235 overboard. Sugar wars, molasses wars, textile wars, cocaine cowboys. They're always fighting over something. Plutonium wars. So we're afraid of nuclear meltdowns. We had the G7 at Hiroshima. I'm a butcher, what's a cow? I'm a baker, what's a cake? I'm a carpenter, what's a hammer? I'm a plasterer, what's a hawk and trowel? I'm a bricklayer. What's a chalk line? I'm a peace activist. I'm an anti-nuclear. I can, no, I will. What's Fukushima? We're afraid of nuclear meltdowns until they happen. I'm not a book writer. I don't, like Colette Spencer says, if Kevin Blanch wrote a book, it'd be 10 feet freaking thick. I don't have any money. I have cancer. Well, I did. Kicked it out so far, but I've been starting to finally feel good. Open heart surgery twice. Lost my gallbladder. Ruptured my teeth. It's been an ugly war since 2011. Just the fact that I went into the bone marrow on 11/11/11. Where's your crown? Where's your crown, Blanch? The rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain. Mall walkers versus internet book-selling, hawking shit talkers. Book hawkers, shit talkers. We hate the bird flockers. Versus mall walkers. They're not activists. They're war profiteers. Let's get back. Okay, let's change the line. Same thing. You can say the same thing about the U.S. and the Mexican-American border. That border's changed at least 7 times. Polk. By the way, Mateo Benjamin asked me if I knew Rocky Anderson. Oh, God, don't even get me going on that guy. I really can't stand that dude. I'm like, really? That's who you quote? Polk. We restored and saved Polk, didn't we? Me and my grandson. he graduated. First graduating class there. So, remember Polk invaded to Mexico and raised the Mexican flag in Mexico City. Santa Anna. Where was Santa Anna? He was back settling things. What did we get from that? Santa Anna's prosthetic leg. Remember he lost his leg? Where's Santa Anna's prosthetic leg? It's in some old dumpy museum in Chicago. That's what we got. And so Taylor ran against Polk because the American populace was outraged. All this invaders. Well, what about Afghanistan? What about Iraq? I mean, the new colonials, we're nothing but their military arm. They don't even have to pay the dragon slayer. Oh, we will pretend. So, same old, same old. Joe Dorothy Day was in Cremaria when World War I broke out. So was Campbell. Campbell was trying to prove Einstein's theory of relativity. Remember, he had his observation, 7 current for the full moon. Remember that? And the war broke out and they confiscated and threw him in the gulag. Same old thing. 19, 14, 15, 16, 17 with their guns and their tanks and their... Oh, no, it ain't the same old thing. They have nuclear bombs now. So, remember? And so, they couldn't prove it. So they're reporting to the mucks in London because Campbell didn't have the expensive equipment anymore. So he set up in Oregon. So other activists went clear to Australia. They reported, no, it didn't bend. But Campbell with his cheap Eddington, they forgot about Eddington. He was a fellow peace activist, Quaker. Here he comes right at the last minute. He says, no, my equipment shows that it did. The rest is history. Freaking light bends. I had a dream with it. He didn't invent nuclear. Freaking Joseph did. Joseph was a hardcore anti-nuker. He left the Manhattan Project in 1944 when he realized that we knew they didn't have it. Why we dropped those bombs in? We knew he didn't have it. We wouldn't fight downhill. We're fighting uphill because Russia had how many troops lined up on the border? How many lined up on the border? How many lined up on the border? Troops? Ready to tell you, we couldn't give up Japan. Barack Obama, the only thing he ever said when he went. Fukushima. I'll keep you abreast. You know what? I never mentioned the word again. I asked Trump to his face. That was the day my heart fell. Started in 20. It was, what an ugly path. Can you talk about Fukushima? Oh, yeah, did he? He met with B 17 times. What happened to a B? But you can't talk about any of this, Kevin. You know, up is down, black is white, wrong is white. So, it's unbelievable. Barack Obama and Jimmy Kimmel, right before the election in 2016, I was at the White House with my Russian hat on. Remember the 5th of November? Cowabunga, dude. Cowabunga, dude. Cowabunga, dude. Love Michelangelo, the great art is nothing but a form of communication. Michelangelo. Well, you're such a great sculptor. My wet nurse came from a family of Masons. He had to hide in a bunker for 40 years. They were trying to kill him. He hated Da Vinci. He'd spit on him. That's an unarguable fact. His own friends painted over us. Free radicals versus post-sticks. So Joseph became a peace actor. Einstein was banned from the Manhattan Project. Banned. He said if this genie ever gets out of the bottle, it's going to alter and mutate every piece of DNA. Well, he didn't call it DNA. Biology on Earth. Well, humans adapt. Albert Einstein. Yeah. In 50 generations, he says it would cause viruses, it would cause epidemics, it would cause, you name it, he said it. Everything that has happened, you know, and so we're afraid of nuclear meltdowns. We're afraid of nuclear meltdowns. We're afraid of nuclear meltdowns until they happen. Never happened at Mayak, never happened at 3 Mile Island, never, those are partial, never happened at even Santa Susana. Never, I mean, those are all nasty. Never even happened, 783 men in Tomb Chernobyl. What do we do at Fukushima? The U.S. runs that. Hello, Yalta by the Sea. Oh, way to boil water. It's starting to look like that. A way to boil a planet. Stay tuned.